Hello, and welcome to our first episode of Young and Incorporated, empowering the young pioneers of today. Under the Dribix tenant, we'll be using LinkedIn Live to interview graduates and professionals who have recently embarked on their own entrepreneurial journey and have set up their own business. Today, we are empowering young pioneer Bruce Bright Jr. And I'll let him introduce himself. 1 second. Hey, Bruce, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing good. Had a good morning so far. I'm excited to talk to you. I'm honored to be the first one.
You are. We're really pleased to have you. I first would like to obviously get to know more about you. So if you could start with just telling us a little bit about your background, obviously whatever you feel comfortable in discussing.
Sure. I don't know how far I want to go back. I'm a military kid. My dad was in the military for 28 years. So for my first 12 years of life, I traveled all over the world. We lived in South Carolina, Japan, really all over the place. Eventually moved to Birmingham, Alabama, and I've been here for the last 10 or so years, 11. So I was really raised here. I still go to college here at a small liberal arts college in Birmingham, Alabama. I play basketball at my college, so I'm a college athlete. And last August, I started my own business. It's called Bright Mobile Detailing. It's a mobile detailing business where we go to people's houses. Right now, it's just houses. This spring, we're gonna grow. We can talk about that too. But yeah, we've done $15,000 in sales so far since August, and that was while I'm in my senior year right now, my last year of college. So while I was in school and practicing basketball, I got it to 15,000. I had one employee who was one of my teammates, and I'm a business major with a focus in marketing. And I'm a few months away from being done, so that's exciting. I can focus on business, and I have my own podcast called Adventures of an Entrepreneur that I'm going to work on also. But yeah, it's a little bit about me.
So let's talk more about your business. So first of all, how did this idea, how did it come about? What made you want to start mobile detailing?
Yeah, so last March, I was in school when COVID started, and my school said, we're going to go on spring break and we'll come back and we'll see how it goes, because all the other schools were shutting down. And we're like, okay, we'll go on spring break, come back, maybe we'll stay open, probably not. And the next day was a Friday or Saturday, and they said, okay, change of plans, you got to move out by Monday. So we had a weekend to move everything out and say goodbye to everybody. The seniors, their year was over, cut short. If you were playing sports at the time, your season ended. So it was kind of heartbreaking back then, especially for the seniors. I was a junior at the time, but it was still pretty upsetting. But then you just had a 5 or 6 month summer. And I knew pretty quickly I was not going to sit at home for very long. I think I was at home for like 3 days. And I was like, this isn't going to work. So I just got the job at the thing that was hiring right now, which is not many places, but Domino's Pizza, which is a pizza place, was hiring delivery drivers. So I got a job there, and I just delivered pizzas every day for probably 2 months, just saving up money and just trying to get out of the house, listening to podcasts, music, while I did it. And it was really just monotonous job, not very engaging, just easy job, and it was pretty good. I mean, it was money, so it's better than nothing. But toward the end of the summer, I started getting tired of it. I had enough money. I was like, I'm just tired of delivering pizzas. I can't do this anymore. So I quit, and I was at home. I said, I'm going to clean my car. I haven't cleaned my car. My car's always dirty. So I just woke up in my car one day, and I realized we had most of the stuff to detail a car in my garage already. We happened to have it. I was like, I wonder if somebody would pay me to do this to their car. So I printed out 100 flyers, and I just folded them up and put them in mailboxes around my neighborhood. And that got me my first 4, 5, 6 clients. And they really didn't they really didn't buy it because they needed their car washed. I mean, they had nice cars and they wanted them clean, but it was more they wanted to support a young entrepreneur because I put those on the flyers, and I still use a similar marketing message today, but it's different rather than a college kid trying to make some money this summer. It's a little different, but it still works. People love the story, and it gets a little more personal, and they don't feel like you're just another business. They kind of get to know you a little bit. So that's how I got my first couple, and that's how I got the idea. I would clean my own car, and was like, I wonder if people will pay, and I just tested it out for cheap, like $20 for 100 flyers, maybe less, and that's how I got my first 5 or 6 clients. And that was a lot profit off $20. So, and I think my original prices were $50 and $50 for a sedan, $75 for an SUV or a truck, and I've raised them since then. But that got me my first 5 or 6, and then they started talking to people, and their friends called me, and I didn't have a website or anything at this time. It was just my phone number on the flyers, and they just called or texted me, and I just put it in my calendar like that. But that's how we got started.
Fantastic. So just to elaborate more about, obviously, you started with flyers, you started sending these out. This was during the COVID period, correct? So how did you, navigate against that?
Yeah, so I was kind of lucky that I lived in Alabama. Our regulations for COVID aren't that strict. They don't. I think we got locked down for a week or 2 this summer, but mostly we've been open. Everything. We just masked. Got to wear masks everywhere. But people really haven't raised a concern. I thought about that. I wonder if people will want me to wear gloves and I wear a mask when I'm introducing myself to them at the door, but I usually take it off when I'm by myself. And I also get tested a few times a week because I'm a college athlete, so they make us get tested. So I know I don't have it.
Fantastic. So in regards, sorry, what was your last comment?
Oh, I didn't.
Okay, no worries. What I was going to say is just to elaborate on how you obviously attracted the sales. So initially you did a few leaflets. Do you think also there was some other marketing, like word of mouth or other, benefits that, obviously maybe you cleaned the car really well and they were really, pleased with your efforts as well as supporting obviously a young entrepreneur?
Yeah, for sure. So the first few clients were all off the flyers, and I got my next couple from them telling their friends, and then eventually I was like, there's enough people here, there's enough people that want this service, and I can do something with this and get some real business going. So I started asking people to post on Facebook if they liked what I was doing, and a lot of people did that. So they would make a Facebook post and tag us in it, or throw it into their neighborhood Facebook group. Those worked really well. We started our website. So we have a booking on our website now that you can book through our website. Our Instagram and Facebook, I got really active on that in the fall. And then Facebook ads, we started Facebook ads probably a month into the business, and those worked really well. They were not that expensive. I wasn't spending that much money, but they had a really good ROI because I was spending so little and just getting a handful of clients every week. So I'm definitely going to do more of those in the spring.
Sure.
And we also did direct mail, which worked really well. So all those marketing channels worked really well for us and kind of diversified where we were getting our traffic from. But yeah, definitely people supporting an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur, especially a college kid, that helps a lot. And especially with them telling their friends, they're more likely to tell their friends. But it does kind of come back to the service. I mean, we get great reviews 99% of the time. We've had a couple people that were unhappy, but I always try to give them a free detail or, make it better. And that was when my employee was doing it. So he was probably just learning, but it happens. But we're really prideful about what we do, and we make sure the cars look good. And if it doesn't, we'll come back and fix it. So definitely comes back to good service. But
Fantastic. So I want to talk about more about the business component. So obviously, in terms of marketing, in terms of obviously you said you have a website. So where did you learn all these skills in such a small period of time? So in terms
Yeah.
of your logo, initially, who branded the logo?
So I made the logo on Canva. It's not. I've always known I've wanted to own my own business, and I've started a few little ones with friends that just never really worked out. Uh,
Mhm.
Mostly because I didn't know what I was doing, and I still am learning, obviously, but I really didn't know what I was doing back in. I started a couple in high school, and those were fun, and I learned a lot, but they didn't work out. And each business I started, I kind of took something from it and learned. So I made logos back in high school that were not good, but I made them and got some experience at it. Uh, so I made our logo, and I'm gonna tweak it, I think, in the spring and do some rebranding because I could do better, I think. But yeah, I made the logo. I made the website. It was on a website builder, so it's not like I coded or anything. But there's plenty of free services that you can build websites on that look pretty good. I like how mine turned out. Um, I use We use Square Appointments to schedule the details, and they have a website builder built into their service. So I use that, which is really convenient. Bought the domain. That's really simple and not that expensive. Facebook ads, that's something I have always played around with.
Mhm.
I'm a lot better at it now because I've used it for a couple years now, but I also keep it really simple. I don't do a lot of the advanced features and stuff. I keep it really simple. I usually use 3 ad sets, and the first one is, well, first of all, I narrow it all the way down to Birmingham, Alabama, because that's our service area. So I only want people in Birmingham. And my first ad set is a broad ad set, so just everyone 18 through 65 in Birmingham. My second ad set is 18 through 65, and then only the top 50% of income in the city, because especially during COVID, detailing your car is an expense you can live without. So you got to have some expendable income to spend money on detailing your car. So that's my thought process there. And then my last ad set is 18 through 65, and it's specifically to my niche. So people who are car collectors or are interested in car detailing, and I narrow it down that way. And those are the 3 ad sets I use. And then for the ads, I use pictures of us cleaning the cars, before afters of the cars. I've made a promo video of just me waxing a car.
Mhm.
But yeah, we use a couple different ads. Usually put our prices on there, but because we're a lot cheaper than the alternative. But yeah,
Okay.
that kind of just trial and error. And I'm a marketing major, so in the past 3.5 years, I've been slowly kind of learning in class the basics of marketing and management and business. And also, I read a lot, so I get it from books. I follow a bunch of people on social media, YouTube videos, and like I said, I always knew I wanted to own a business since as long as I can remember. My dad owns his business, so that's probably where I got that. I like the amount of freedom he has in his life, and I want that. So I
Yeah.
always knew I wanted to do that. So I've just kind of been learning and teaching myself, picking up whatever I can along the way.
Fantastic, Bruce. I think you've actually done a fantastic workshop today in our interview for certain people that are obviously watching the show.
Yeah.
I think that you've covered a lot of bases in regards to business. So I actually wanted to elaborate on what you just said about the fact that obviously you're studying, learning entrepreneurial skills. Do you think that these two go hand in hand, or do you think that you should learn, you should, go through the whole educational system, and then once you get to the end, you choose, which career you want to be in or which business you want to operate in? Or do you think that these skills should be learned alongside the theoretical, educational side of
Mhm.
things?
I think not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur or is driven to be an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
I think for a lot of people, it's the risk. They would be much more comfortable knowing that they have a check in the mail coming every month, which is not what you get when you're an entrepreneur, especially at the beginning. You got to go out and do the work to get money. And if you don't, no one really cares if you don't. So it's not meant for everybody, but I also think they don't teach you how to do it in school. College is more about teaching you how to be an employee and how to work, and not gives you the knowledge, but most of the stuff you're going to do at your job, they're going to teach you on the job. You're not going to learn it in college. So they're kind of just teaching you to meet deadlines and giving you the basic knowledge that an employee needs to have. And I don't think I've taken one entrepreneurial class in my college experience, and it was good. We like did a mock business and kind of like went through it, and it was taught by an entrepreneur, not a professor. And it was fun, but that's the only entrepreneurial experience I've got in college. Other than that, I think you kind of gotta want it, and you got to teach yourself. And I mean, there's tons of resources, podcasts, YouTube channels, books. I mean, you can teach yourself pretty courses you can buy, but I don't think college is for everybody either. I think if I wasn't playing basketball, I don't know, my parents would probably still want me to graduate college, and I probably would, but I would be less inclined to, just because I don't think you need it. I think college, you might need it if you want to be a doctor. You definitely need it, or a lawyer, or a nurse, or if you want to go to grad school, you definitely need it. But it's not for everybody, and I don't think you have to have it. There's other ways to learn, and I think I've learned just as much out of college as I have in the classroom. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that.
Fantastic. I actually wanted to touch base on, you spoke about your dad earlier, and I just wanted to, I know you might not want to, obviously, in terms of privacy, he might not want to have his business disclosed, but would you be able to just elaborate on a few points in regards to, obviously your dad's influence on your
your
life?
Yeah, so my dad was the one that was in the Marine Corps. He was in the military for 28 years. He retired in 2008, I think. And so he kind of made a career out of the military, almost 30 years. And when he retired, he started working for my uncle at a commercial real estate firm. And he was really good at it, but he had to work on the hours they gave him, and there was a ceiling to what he could make. And he just didn't have the level of freedom he wanted. And he asked it was my uncle, his boss at the time. It's like, I need more freedom. I need these things. And he was like, I can't make it work. And he said, okay, I'm going to have to do something else. And they're still great friends. I mean, it's my uncle, so it's not like it was a mean split or anything.
Yeah.
But I had to go do something else. It wasn't for him. So he started a leadership coaching firm, and he did public speaking at the beginning also. He still does public speaking, but he started with mostly public speaking. And now he does public speaking, executive life coaching, and he also has a health and wellness company where he coaches the same clients on health and wellness, losing weight, living a healthy lifestyle. He has a whole program on that too. But yeah, so he's really built himself up to where he is today. He's making way more money than he was at his other job. And I've actually had him on my podcast to talk about it, but he's successful, and he loves what he's doing now. And he doesn't do any marketing is the thing. The only marketing he does is his clients talking to other clients. So yeah, that's crazy to think if he just did some marketing, how much more he could be doing, but
absolutely,
maybe in the future.
Fantastic. I mean, that sounds amazing what your dad pivoted from, career to being his own owner of his own business.
Yeah.
And so how he's influenced your journey. And
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was a kid when he was working that job, and I saw the difference in his life when he moved away from it. He went from not being home 9 to 5, late nights or off on business trips, to being home whenever he wanted to, coming to every game. Anytime he needed off, he was off. And that level of freedom, I think it just subconsciously rubbed off on me. It was like kind of a no-brainer. It was like, why would anybody not do that to me? It was like, that just, I can't imagine not doing what I want when I want. So I just like that level of freedom.
Fantastic. So I want to talk about equity versus value. So obviously, like you said, there's some people that just need that stability of knowing that they get a salary every month. And obviously, as an entrepreneur, you have to like lay the blocks, the building blocks before you get to a certain stage. But what if entrepreneurship was really taught from like the ages of 3, 4, like the emphasis was more on entrepreneurship and actually less on the robotic corporate lifestyle that they perceive that this is what adds value. I mean, spending time with family members, like you said, having that freedom. Is this not something that is more beneficial to a human being overall? So let's say from kindergarten, these things were taught. Do you think that this would actually change people's mindset from a very early age standpoint?
I think it definitely would. I think throughout school and as you grow up, you're kind of molded more to not take risks or follow the crowd. You want to be like everybody else. And if you kind of change that early enough, I think it would definitely affect people's development and people's ability to take risk and seeing upside, wanting freedom from a job. And and there are great jobs out there. I'm not saying that everybody hates their job. There are people that love their job and they're good at it. And we need people to work 9 to 5s. There's more people are going to work jobs than be entrepreneurs. That's just how it has to be. But I think you could definitely improve people's lives and give them a better level of freedom and understanding of the upside of entrepreneurship if you started earlier, for sure.
Fantastic. So I wanted to talk more about the actual company itself. I mean, where do you see it going in the next 2 to 3 years? I mean, do
Yeah.
you have any plans?
Oh, I have plans for sure.
Yeah, we like to hear about these
Yeah,
amazing
I have plans for sure. So it's January now, and so it's cold, so people aren't really detailing cars, which is perfect for me because we're right in the middle of basketball season. So I'm kind of focusing on basketball right now, planning for end of February, mid-February, putting the marketing back up. I'm gonna spend more money than I ever did on marketing in the fall because I know it's proven. I have customers. We have over 150 clients now, so I'm going to contact them with follow-up calls and emails and text messages. Though those will probably be the first details we get in the spring. Then we have Facebook ads. I'm going to ramp those back up and spend more money than I did in the spring and get some better ads up on there. We're going to do direct mail again. I'm going to send out 1,000 postcards per month for the whole summer. And if they keep returning a good ROI, which they have so far, I might send out more. I don't know. But so far, if I send out 1,000, I make more money than I spent. So it just makes sense to keep doing them. We have billboards that we're going to go up. I have 4 locations around Birmingham, downtown, and in Homewood that we're going to have billboard up. That's really exciting. Because that'll be something I can, like, people will see, people that know me, and that's kind of a next step, like, up from just right now. People know I do it, but I'm doing it out of the back of my car and I put flyers in people's mailboxes. It's just not as professional or big time. But when you see a billboard, you're kind of like, wow, like that's another level, kind of.
Of course.
But also, I have a vision of hitting $100,000 in the next 12 months. And I think it's very reasonable to do that. And this is why. Right now, we're just doing details out of the back of our cars, and we have to go to people's houses because we have to have a water spigot and a power outlet to do the details because we don't have a water tank or anything.
Mhm.
And it's worked so far for 150 clients. None of them complained about it, but it limits us to how many customers we can serve because it has to be at their house. So I'm going to invest in a van, a water tank, and a generator. And we're going to take that to places that don't have that. So apartment buildings have been really hard to do so far. And that's a lot of people. Office buildings, while people are at work, their car's just sitting outside. I think that's a huge stream of income that we can hit. And there's one more that I'm forgetting, but I wrote it down somewhere. But there's one more. anyway, we're gonna find more customers that we can't serve right now.
I can really feel your passion coming through. So
Yeah,
don't worry, if you have one more, I'm sure that our viewers can see that you're very passionate, you're driven, and you know exactly what the next steps are in terms of growing the business. So I
yeah.
really,
And I've done the math. For us to hit $100,000, we have to be doing 4 details per day, and that's only for 10 months. So 2 months, say we don't sell any in January, December. We're only working 10 months a year. We just have to do 4 a day. And I think, especially in the warm months, I was doing 4 a day by myself in the fall. So I think 4 is super reasonable, especially if we have one guy doing residential houses, one guy doing commercial buildings and apartment buildings. I mean, we only need 4 people to fill up a day. Like that's a full day. I wouldn't really make someone do more details than 4. So if you go to an office building of a couple hundred, advertise it, I'm pretty confident we can get at least 4 from there. And if we have more than 4, we'll just come a second day, third day, like that. But I think that's a huge income stream that we haven't been able to tap into yet. And I'm excited for the spring for sure. After we win the championship in basketball, of course.
yes. I also wanted to ask, so have you been able to pay yourself yet, or have you just reinvested that? I think you mentioned 15K. Have you been able to pay yourself out of that and also reinvest, or is it kind of just reinvesting back into the company?
So mostly reinvesting. I haven't taken any money out and put it in my bank account or anything. I just have a company bank account. It's all in there. If I need to buy something, I'll use some of the money. We have plenty of money to go forward. But no, not really. I don't pay myself. I don't really have that many expenses right now because I'm in college. So it's not like I have a car payment or rent or anything right now. I'm in a dorm room, but after the spring when I graduate, I'm either going to get my own place or move back in with my parents for a little bit. But I'll probably start paying myself whenever I have to. So whenever I have rent to pay and car insurance and that kind of stuff, I'll definitely pay myself as little as I can so I can invest and grow as fast as I can. I want to keep as much money in the business as possible to accelerate it. But yeah, I don't have a problem paying myself a little bit just to live on. But no, not so far. I haven't paid myself.
Fantastic. That actually goes into my next question. So obviously, in terms of not paying yourself, and like you said, you don't actually have any, large utilities that you have to outlay. So obviously, do you think, I think it also broaches on the previous question that I asked, that actually the the lack of responsibilities, if you say that, obviously you do have responsibility, you have your basketball, you have your family members that you have to already go and see and stuff, but the fact that you have lack of bills actually makes you more successful as an entrepreneur than actually having to have that whole dreaded anxiousness of, oh my god, how am I going to pay the bills this month, how am I going to pay for my car or whatever.
For sure. I definitely have less risk than someone who has a 9 to 5 and kids and a family that are relying on them. If they quit their job to start a business, there's a lot on the line. For me, if this business were to fail, not much would change other than I wouldn't have as much money. And I don't need that much money right now. I'm only supporting me. So I definitely have less risk, and I don't have a problem handling risk, even the little I have. I focus on more of the upside than the risk. And I think it's a lot more likely that I succeed than I fail. But I definitely have a lot less risk than someone who has a family and has kids and would have to quit their job to start a business. And I think this is a golden time to start a business because of that lack of risk. The worst case scenario is I get a job again and just start saving money. But I would if I were going to give advice, I would definitely say start as young as you can when you have a little risk. I mean, it just makes sense to plan for the worst case scenario. Just isn't that bad for me right now. But also I think it's a lot more likely I succeed than I fail. So Yeah, definitely a lot less risk. And it's probably helped me succeed because I'm not really focused on the risk.
Yes. Actually goes so nicely into my another question is obviously what's been happening in America in last year or so in regards to Donald Trump, the dreaded name, and all of the other aspects that's been going on. Do you believe that there's equal opportunities if you want to obviously access them, or do you believe that there is that dreaded, negative or biasness in terms of certain individuals, certain groups, certain parts, areas? What's your take on it, Bruce? And please be open as you like. Please let us know from your heart exactly what your feelings are towards it.
Okay. I think there are tons of opportunities for everybody in America. No matter where you are, what your situation is. Now, everybody doesn't start on the same level, for sure. There are definitely people that are underprivileged or in poverty in America. And I was lucky enough to, I come from a great family and I'm blessed to I'm just lucky. But I think there's tons of opportunities in America. And if you focus on the positives and the opportunities, you can make the most of it no matter where you are. And it might take more work depending on who you are, where you come from. But I think there are tons of examples also that you can get inspiration from that have fought out of whatever situation they're in and have succeeded in life. There are definitely people that start on different levels, if you were, but I think anybody can succeed, especially America, the land of opportunity. And I think it's more about your mindset. If you're always thinking like a victim, things are happening to me, there's nothing I can do about it, I'm just unlucky, then that's kind of what the results you're going to get. But if you focus on more of the positives, more of what can I do, how can I change this, and focus on the things you want in life and don't focus on things you don't want, the things that you want will start making their way into your life. Even if it's slowly, you just got to keep going, and eventually it'll happen. It'll manifest itself.
That was a really lovely quote there. Keep going, and it will definitely manifest itself. I really like that. I just want to ask you the last question before we let you obviously promote your company and put some, some action points out there. So I want to ask about your values and your interests. If you could say, your top 3 values and your top 3, interests in life, what would those be?
Yeah. So my first one, and this has changed recently, but it's my health, because without your health, money doesn't matter. You can't spend time with your family if you're in a hospital bed. So making sure I'm healthy and I'm at my peak will trickle down into my other areas of my life and will help me in my relationships, my business, school, basketball, everything. So I think it starts with your health. And if you're not healthy, you're just not going to be there very long. So I think that's the most important thing. Secondly, I think it goes my relationships. So my family, I've got, second, I think, is actually God. Let me put God second. I'm religious. I'm a Catholic, but I think God comes second next to my health, because I can't do his deeds if I'm not healthy again. So then third would be my relationships, and that's my family, my mom, dad. I have 2 sisters, older and younger, my girlfriend, even my friends, just my friends at school, my high school friends. Those come third, and I try to be there for whatever they need, whenever they need it. And then fourth would be basketball. Basketball has been in my life since I was probably 4 years old. I've played every year, except for my freshman year of high school, all the way up until college. So it's definitely been a huge part of my life, and it'll probably end up coming to an end this year. So I'm hoping we can end with championship. and we're 5-1 right now, so we're off to a good start. And then lastly would be school. That's my least important thing in my life. It goes on the list because I guess I do care about it. I'm getting the grades. I'm finishing. I'm going to get a degree, but it's not that important to me for real. And business would go in front of school also.
Fantastic.
So my business would go right above school after basketball. And then when basketball's over, it would get bumped up.
Fantastic. I mean, I have actually had the most splendid talk with you, Bruce. I mean, you've been a fantastic first candidate. So I really appreciate you reaching out to us and obviously coming on the call today. I want you to be able to obviously have the floor now so that you could actually plug your business. So I'm going to actually remove myself and you are going to be center stage.
Awesome.
So you will be able to obviously say your business name, how people can reach you, your social media accounts, etc. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
All right. So my business is called Bright Mobile Detailing. If you're in the Birmingham, Alabama area, you want to get your car detailed, or if you just want to contact me for any reason, you can go to brightmobiledetailing.com. We're also on Instagram at Bright Mobile Detailing, so you can find us there. If you want to contact me, you can go to my podcast website. It's adventuresofanentrepreneur.co.co. I'm active on there. We post every Monday and Thursday. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you listen to podcasts, we're on there. We actually had one go live 50 minutes ago, so you can go check those out there. My Instagram, my personal Instagram, is where I'm most active personally. It's at Bruce Bright Jr. Pretty simple, but you can find me on Instagram if you want to contact me there. And yeah, that's pretty much all my contact info. I'd love to talk to you if you have questions or if you just want to talk or have opportunities. I'm always interested to hear from people and talk to people for any reason, really. So definitely contact me on Instagram if you want to connect.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I wish you, because your day has only just started. So we're 4 o'clock, going to 4 o'clock here. So definitely have a great day. And obviously, we will definitely still be in contact and we'll talk more and see how your progression is going. So well done again. And you are our first pioneer. So
awesome. I'm honored. Thank you for having me.
And take care now.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.